Hi everyone, I'm Lex Not Luther and welcome to my booktube channel. Today we're going to talk about my TBR for the summer. Everyone seems to be doing a to be read for their channel, so I thought, why not? I could definitely use a good start, and I've actually got a huge haul for said TBR. So I guess this is a TBR / book haul. Oh god, it's kind of heavy. Okay. So, now, this is not necessarily in order, and all of these books are ones that I have owned and I haven't been able to get to. Sorry. But first one on my list is The River Runs Red by Jeff Mariotte. Actually kind of a crazy cover. I absolutely love it. In this one, 20 years before, this team of 3 people, it looks like, actually went to study some ancient Indian petroglyphs in Rio Grande, Texas, I guess. And this supernatural, like, water or pool of something, I'm guessing that's what that is, it possesses them. And unknowingly, they unleash this entity upon the world and start a kind of like a supernatural war. They basically have to win this war. I have read Jeff Mariotte before. I absolutely love him. This particular copy is actually signed to me and my husband. Stay out of those caves. Jeff is an absolutely excellent author, and he's an excellent person. Every time when we lived in Arizona, every time we went to a book festival or a convention of any sort, kind of a geek con or comic con, the Tucson Book Festival, he was always there, and he actually owns a bookstore as well. So we always raided his store and bought everything from him. Even actually another book that I have in my stack, I actually bought from him at the Phoenix Comic Con from his store. I absolutely love him as a person, and I absolutely love him as an author. He's just a great guy. And seriously, my husband went through this in I think he read throughout the entire thing in one sitting. And for me, that's impressive because I actually read a little slow. So this stack, as you're about to see, is going to be a challenge for me. But I'm all down for challenges, so let's get this going. Alright, so that was book 1. The second book on my list, oh my god, I am so excited to actually read through it. I haven't been able to read through this one, and I really, really wanted it, and I ran out of time back when I lived in Arizona, because you don't really have a whole lot of time for yourself in Arizona. And I can't wait for this book. Some of the reviews on the back of the book, like this one, this is damn and wow territory. Quite simply, one of the best books I've read in years by Melissa Marr. Breathtakingly fast-paced and original, this book is a reading tsunami that grabs hold and won't let go, from Melissa de la Cruz. I don't know why I haven't read this yet. I'm crazy, I guess. I love the Hunger Games. I've only read the first book in the Divergent series, but I cannot wait to read this book, and this book is The Fifth Wave. So, obviously putting it in the realm, and it's by Rick Yancey. I love dystopian type books, and the world has ended, and now we're left with the survivors. And this, I've been told, is all of my favorites, like Hunger Games and Divergent, on steroids ×5. So I'm really excited to get into this book. Essentially, what you can be told in here is, after the first wave, only darkness remains. After the second, only the lucky escape. After the third, only the unlucky survive. After the fourth wave, just one rule applies: trust no one. And you are on the 5th wave. So essentially what I'm getting from this from the synopsis is there's this girl, Cassie, who has survived, and she's in the 5th wave, and apparently there's these entities that have taken over the world. I don't know if it's aliens or if it's demons or whatever, but both are awesome for me. But essentially these entities have taken over the world and they look like humans, and all they do, apparently, according to the synopsis, is they just walk up and kill you. So really, if they look like humans and they're just going to kill you, who are you supposed to trust? You can't even talk to them. So essentially, it's trust no one, stay alone and stay alive. And somehow she manages to speak to a person and trust them enough to allow them to help her save her brother. Now, I have no idea what that means, but it sounds absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait to start this book. Now, 3rd book on my list is another author from Arizona. I have met this author, and she's fantastic. She's the most wonderful smile and laugh in the world. I can't explain it more, that she has an addictive personality, and I've met her 3 times. So my 3rd book on my summer reads is Thief Eyes by Janni Lee Simner. I'm going to kind of turn that because I don't know how the glare is. I actually don't know a whole lot about this one. I have read some of her other books, her fae novels, and I can tell you her writing is purely just magical. It's magical. She's a magical person, and I'm sure this is going to be magical. So I can't wait. Her other stories are YA, so I'm enjoying that because it's probably going to be a really short and quick read and perfect for the summer, because honestly, even though the front cover kind of looks like it's a winter type style, it's perfect for the summer because it's going to be really quick for me to read. Yeah, I can't wait. Okay, the 4th book on my list. I am so sorry I haven't read this already, and I can't believe that I haven't read this yet. I mean, I must be crazy, but it's The Lovely Bones by Alice Seabold. Now, I have the movie cover edition. I did at one point own the original. That's how long I've actually had this book. This is my 2nd copy, and I still haven't read it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't. If you don't know what this book is about, it's essentially this girl within the 1st chapter gets murdered by some dude. And all I know is that she's in heaven, she knows who her murderer is, and she's watching everyone below her and they're suffering. And I don't know if she's supposed to be solving her own murder. I don't know. All I know is that this book is supposed to be amazing, and I've completely missed out on it, and shame on me. But this will be read this summer. Now, the 5th book on my list, I don't know anything about it. It was a cover by. I'm not gonna lie, it was completely a cover by. It is The Magician, The Secret of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel by Michael Scott. And it's beautiful. I love this cover, and I'm so bad that I bought a cover by. But I never do that, guys. I don't. Thankfully heard a lot of really good things about this book, and I can't wait. I can't wait. My 6th book is one that's been out for a while. This one was actually a hand-me-down by a friend, and it's supposed to be really young reading. I don't typically do young reads. I can't really relate to them, so we'll see how I do, but that's why I only have the 1st one. But it is The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan? Percy Jackson series. I'm going to be starting. If I like this book, I will actually continue the story, or the series. I haven't watched any of the movies. All I know is apparently this kid is the son of a god of some form. I don't know, guys. That's how in the dark I am right now. I really don't know a whole lot about this, so I'm really good at not getting spoilers. I'm really good at not spoiling myself. This should be a quick read, though. It is a little thicker, but it should be really fast reading. The font is huge, so summer read. The next one is by a author who branched out into the young adults area, and I usually read his adult books, his horror stories and murder mysteries to be exact. So my 7th book on my list is Witch and Wizard by James Patterson. I love James Patterson, and I think he's a fantastic author, so I'm really excited to start this. I guess it is a series, so my sister-in-law actually told me to pick up this book, so I'm actually really excited to start the series, and I'm really excited to read another James Patterson book. So thank you, Tess. Thank you for telling me to read this one. The 8th book on my list is nothing short of magical. I know the story, and I can't wait to read the book again, but I'm going to read it again because the last time I read it, I was young. But the 8th book on my list is A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson. Burnett is a Little Princess by Frances Hodgson. Burnett. I can't say his name. Frances Hodgson Burnett, A Little Princess. So, this book, if you haven't actually watched the movie and you don't think you'll read the book first, I highly suggest the movie because, oh my god, it's beautiful. So, essentially, this girl grew up in India, and her mother died when she was born. And her father works for the British Army or something, but he's a British soldier, and he has to go off to war. So he books this little girl into a all-girls boarding school, the same boarding school, however, that her mother grew up in. And she's supposed to absolutely love it. Now, they are from a lot of money. I don't know if this book is actually set in the beginning, the British occupation of India. It would seem so because there's a lot of British people in India, and they're all soldiers, but this little girl is friends with everyone, and she's an absolutely beautiful person. However, she loves telling stories. So when she gets to this British boarding school, all the girls are like, wow, she's so pretty. Wow, she has so much money. Wow, she has like all the dolls in the world. And I have a doll that I got when I was little, and so old, but I have this little baby doll that I have had forever since I was a little kid because of this book. But yeah, mostly because her gown was just everything on her was handmade, and it was because this little doll was made for me when I was a little kid because of this book, because I loved the book, I loved the story, I loved the girl. I thought this girl was just an amazing person, and I wanted to be just like her when I was little. So essentially what happens is her father goes MIA in the war, and when that happens, he didn't have a living will, so everything that he owned, all of his money, all of her things, all of everything goes out the window. And her boarding mother, the lady that runs the boarding school, is an evil psychopath. But she takes all of her things, all of the money that's already been given to the boarding school, and takes it as collateral, essentially, for basically putting this girl into slavery for the boarding school. There's another little girl in this story who is also kind of like a slave, but all of the girls in the boarding school are really rich, and one girl in particular really kind of just torments this little girl so much and really just makes her life just terrible. So she loses her father, her only family. All the other little girls still love this little girl, and this little girl's name is Sarah. I should have said that earlier. But still love this little girl because of her stories. She just makes up these miraculous tales, and they're beautiful, and they're so well told, and she makes friends so easily because she's so creative and she's such a wonderful person, and she takes care of all the other little girls that are kind of bullied. And I love this story so much. I am so excited to read this one again. wow, I spent way too much time talking about that one. My 9th book on my list is The Cats of Tanglewood Forest by Charles de Lint. Now, if you haven't read anything by Charles de Lint, you are missing out. He is a magical writer. This one is supposed to be about a little girl and some magical cats. I love cats. I love every cat, but not like that. I do love cats, but most of all, I love fae, and I love fae stories. And this one is just, basically it's a children's novel, but I don't care. I don't care. This is one of the illustrations. Hope you can see that. The illustrations were done by Charles Bess, and this one I was so excited. But I also got this one signed by Charles de Lint. It says, "For Alexis, please read this to a cat." And hopefully you can see that. But I love Charles de Lint. He writes magical stories, and they're not all happy-go-lucky, and some of them are some really crazy characters. So I'm really excited to read this. Also, I kind of consider this kind of an Easter egg, but if you take off the sleeve of the book, that's the book. I found that on a whim, and I was just like, oh my god, like, yes please, give me more of that book. So my 10th book on my list is actually a comic book, and it was recommended to my friend Matt from the old and now shut down Atomic Comics from Phoenix, Arizona. So sad that they had to shut down. It's just economy, and so sad. But before it shut down, my friend Matt did tell me to get this comic, and I'm sure I'm going to love it. But it is Chew! John Layman and Rob Guillory? I'm not sure. It's spelled funny. Well, it's not spelled funny. It's just spelled in a way that I can't pronounce. But Chew. Now, what Chew is about is a guy named Tony Chew. He's a psychopathic or chipopathic. I don't know how to pronounce it, but essentially he's psychic in a way where if he eats something, he sees the future of whoever prepared it. Essentially, he sees psychic visions based off of what he eats. And that sounds pretty crazy. He's also a detective. So imagine going to a crime scene and having to eat something in the crime scene. It sounds horrifying, but it also sounds absolutely fantastic. So here's some of the art. It's kind of pastels, a lot of pastels, and action scenes are a little more bright. But I'm sure I'm absolutely going to love this, and I'm sure I'm going to get the rest of the series. So thank you, Matt. It's awesome of you. The 11th book on my list, I'm questionable, but I've read all of her others in this particular series, and it's a love-hate relationship. It truly is. This is just an absolutely love-hate relationship. The next book is Danse Macabre by Laurell. Now, I have read all of the other previous Anita Blake books before this, and let me tell you, it has been a roller coaster kind of ride. I'll be doing a full review on this one and all the others that I've mentioned. A lot of them are fantastic, and then she goes on some kind of sex spree, and that's where she lost me. It has taken me 2 years to get through before this book, the last 3. Now, this is definitely not the last book in the series. Absolutely not. She's coming out with like a new book once or twice a year. She comes out with. If you do read the series, if you do start the series, if you like vampires, werewolves, leopards, lions, rats, lots of lichens, and you like fae, and you like gods, like creatures so powerful they're practically gods. If you like those things, you will probably like the Anita Blake series. If you like sex in your stories, you will probably like the Anita Blake series or the Mary Gentry series, because that's all that's in that one. Essentially, Anita Blake is the vampire executioner, and she is now a licensed state marshal. And so now she can actually go through, kill supernatural things, and it's legal. But not all the things are monsters. So she does run across quite a few that are. If you don't like a whole lot of sex in your stories, I can tell you to go ahead and stop after Obsidian Butterfly, and your world will not be tarnished. However, if you don't mind it and you can push through all the sex, or skip it, whatever, because it doesn't really matter. Just continue on through Obsidian Butterfly. This one so far is interesting. I'm on chapter 9 already. We'll see. I'll be doing a full review, and I'll actually go through and do a full review on all of the books eventually, because it's a thick library, let me tell you. But I'm kind of hesitant on this one, but I will. Apparently I'm addicted because I'm still reading this. So here I go. Now everything else is actually on my Kindle. The next book on my list, I actually don't have a Kindle cover for you because I'm currently in the middle of the book. I'm actually 70% through, and that is The Mind Readers by Laurell. This book is about a girl who can read thoughts, and her and her grandmother are the only ones that she knows of that can read thoughts. A crazy murder happens to one of her friends in high school, and she overhears the thoughts of the murderer. And shortly thereafter, a mysterious new boy starts to come to school. She's terrified that that might be the murderer, and she can't read his thoughts. For some strange reason, she can't read his thoughts. So she thinks, well, it can't be this guy. He can't be the murderer, and which is awesome because I kind of have a crush on him because I can read his thoughts, and because I can't read his thoughts, and I could read the thoughts of the murderer. It was actually really creepy overhearing the murderer, and I definitely was like, ooh. I am most of the way through this book, and I can tell you it's hanging on me. I like it. I'm enjoying it. I will have a full review up for you. The next book on my list is The Fallen Star by Jessica Sorensen. I actually don't have a whole lot of synopsis on this one for you, just that I saw a review on it on a booktuber's channel. If I can find it again, I'll post the link down below. And they were raving about it, so I went ahead and grabbed it, and it was free on Kindle for Memorial Day weekend, so I don't know if it's still free, but check it out. The next book on my list is The Energy Room by Styna. It says close your eyes. I heard some amazing reviews from several booktubers about this one, and I'm actually really excited to. They wouldn't give me a whole lot of synopsis on what it's about, other than it being kind of like people who are experimented on, or not sure. Honestly, not sure. I just know that the first chapter it says monsters, shackles, and pancakes. You have my attention. I like pancakes. Monsters, cool. Shackles, but I like pancakes. The next book on my list, I'm so sorry, Lindsay. I'm so sorry. The next book on my list is a book that was purchased for me, and my sister is going to kill me that I haven't read it yet, because I think it's her favorite book. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lindsay, but again, I'm sorry. Again, a fantastic cover, but it is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Erin Morgenstern. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Sorry, Lindsay. But essentially this book is based in a circus, and I know that the main character kind of has powers. I'm not sure. I do know, however, that this book is incredibly popular, and surprise, Erin Morgenstern is noted for writing this book during NaNoWriMo, which is essentially the National Writers Month or something. But essentially you write a book in a month in 30 days. And I tried it and got sidetracked. But Erin Morgenstern is a fantastic role model for NaNoWriMo writers and people who want to write a book, because this girl wrote this book in 30 days. So, kudos. Awesome. It's a really popular book. So the next book on my list is Dead Until Dark by Charlaine Harris. I haven't read any of the Sookie Stackhouse books. I've heard that they're good. I love vampire and crazy supernatural stuff, so I don't know why I haven't read this. Probably because Laurell K. Hamilton took over my life in some strange, mysterious way that I don't quite understand. The next book on my list is Insurgent by Veronica Roth. I loved Divergent. I actually enjoyed the movie, which was surprising. I can't wait to get into this. I've heard mixed results about the last book, but this one seems fantastic, so I really can't wait to get into it. And the last book on my list for my summer reads is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I don't know anything about this book. I really don't. But it was a Christmas present. Thank you so much, Tess, my sister-in-law. And I've been excited to read this, even though I don't know what it's about, because of how many people have really loved this book, and like the reviews are amazing. So I'm really excited, and I heard that there's a film coming out, so that sounds awesome. So that's my summer reads, and I hope you guys all enjoy. See you in the next one. Bye!